And good Tuesday morning. I am meteorologist Ben Peine here. It is Tuesday, November the 25th, and what is apparently the biggest travel day of the year ahead of Thanksgiving. And actually, we can pop up the big travel map here, and we're looking at the current delays across the United States. And it looks like Atlanta is winning. This is called the misery map at flightaware.com. We've got some delays as well. There's over 100 and something delays in Atlanta. Next on the list for delays is Houston, and then O'Hare Airport has 39 delays, Dallas-Fort Worth 33 delays, and then getting into Charlotte, some delays there, and Miami, Fort Lauderdale, some delays. So big travel day. Hopefully, if your family has some travel, they won't be getting in that mess. But it is a mess out there. We got steady rain. As we've been talking a lot about since last week. We had a couple sunny days this weekend, but a lot of gray, gloomy conditions this time of the year. It is a little bit milder. It's in the 50s now, and we'll head into the lower 60s later this afternoon. And the steady rain won't be around too long. We're going to have some occasional, just kind of a spritz, sprinkles every now and again for the rest of today and tonight once this batch of steady rain moves on through our area. And in fact, we can see here on the radar and satellite that we've got this kind of slug of moisture moving through right now. There you can see it all throughout Kentucky and southern Indiana, metro Louisville. But you can see the drying trend out to the west. So that'll be some of the spotty sprinkles that we'll have later on today. So there is some drying that will occur as we head towards midday today. It's not going to be a total washout out there, but nonetheless, a gloomy start across the region once again there as we look at the radar and satellite. Wait for some folks to get on board. And, of course, if you're new to the program here, this has been at 10, your live weather show for southern Indiana, metro Louisville, Kentucky, and beyond throughout the Ohio Valley. Never know where somebody might be tuning in from. Please drop in the comments if you have a question, comment, want to see a weather map of some sort. Feel free to help, as I say, guide the show where it may go here. So we typically go for about 45 minutes. We got plenty to talk about today. Today's rain, tomorrow's cold and windy conditions, falling temperatures throughout our Wednesday, wicked wind chills Wednesday, very cold weather for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. We're looking at upper teens, low 20s for Friday morning, and then some unsettled weather this weekend, which might involve a little bit of a wintry mix. So again, as usual, plenty to talk about here for this time of the year. So we're gonna load it all up here. First, we've got some weather facts, history, weather jokes. We'll look at the weather forecast in detail, and then we'll dig into the weather model data, which is typically around 10:20. So that's kind of the program here. And again, feel free to guide it where you'd like it to go. Our weather headlines: spotty light rain left over this afternoon and evening, mostly kind of sprinkly stuff after this steady morning rain, and then windy and colder for tomorrow. It'll be warmest tomorrow morning, and then falling temperatures through the day, and likely just feeling like the 20s and 30s tomorrow afternoon. I'm still going to try to get some golf in tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. Then very cold weather for Thanksgiving and Friday with highs in the 30s. Might get a little bit of a wintry mix. If we sneak in some wet snowflakes, it looks like the best chance of that is going to be on our Saturday morning before it just turns into a rain event. Right now, it looks like Sunday is looking pretty rainy for us. Just to give you a heads up there for the rest of our Thanksgiving weekend. So as I was talking about, wet today, but the flip side, it is a little bit milder. We can take a look at the current conditions out here once again. So there is a look at the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera, if you ever want to take a look at that. This is all the weather resources that we have here at extolmag.com, extolmag.com. So there's our live stream up right now. Thanks for liking or subscribing. Even just a little like click helps the algorithm spread the show around to some more folks. So thanks for doing that as well if you're tuning in. We got 56 degrees here. Let me switch the sources so you can actually see what I'm talking about. There, I got hung up a little bit. So 56 degrees there. There's our live show. And then we've got the daily weather forecast that takes you all the way through next week, and your hourly forecast that takes you hour by hour through the forecast here for today. I've got the brand new 7-day forecast here posted with some chilly numbers on there that we're going to talk a lot about, and the weather story showing those 20s on the way. We're going to have some hard freezes for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday mornings. Any severe weather threat from the Storm Prediction Center well south of our area down towards Alabama today. But the severe weather watches and warnings, this is interesting here. They have a winter storm warning in the upper Midwest here. They're looking at maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow over parts of Wisconsin and into Minnesota. And also blizzard conditions. They may have some 40, 50 mile per hour winds. So active snowstorm up in the upper Midwest, shown there on the weather.gov National Weather Service map there. Current Indiana weather and traffic. If you do have travel and you want to check it out, we got you linked up to that across the area. TriMark, of course, is your resource for Kentucky. Looks like that camera's out there. Ooh, some of the cameras not loading up here this morning, but so far looks all right. I'm not seeing much red. Just a few slow spots here through Metro Louisville as I cruise around there. But again, it's all linked up here at extolmag.com. This is a really fun, especially if you're into weather, interactive weather map right here. It's got your rain there, of course. If you click the orange circle in the top right, it's going to take you to Futurecast temperature map, which shows, again, 50s around the area. You can look at the high-definition clouds. You can look at all kinds of different things. Wind gusts. It's windiest off to the south of our area today, gustier and say south of the Bluegrass Parkway is where the winds are a bit gusty and where temperatures are a little warmer down that direction as well. So have fun, play around with that if you're interested in weather. We've got you all hooked up there on the website. And with all of that said, let's see who's popping in here this morning. We've got Dennis Gregory. Good morning. Happy rainy Tuesday. 55 degrees and no walk in sight. Beverly Hagist with a good morning from Borden, Indiana. Can we see a month out? Curious about Christmas. We can that far out. We can just give you kind of what the normal temperatures will be as our normal highs go in the 40s. But that's a little bit too far out on a limb. I can say Christmas Day has a 10% chance on average of a white Christmas. Lillian Lasley, good morning. 59. So upper 50s there in Grayson County, Kentucky. Mary Dale, when is this rain going to stop in New Albany? Well, it'll be around for another couple more hours and then just some sprinkles off and on later on today. And Keith, Hennessy, I'm not seeing any 80 degrees. Yeah, today is actually going to be our warmest day, Keith, in the lower 60s this afternoon, if we make it there. And then we're cold for a while here. Orlean Whitlow with 59 degrees, raining there in Hodgenville, Kentucky. At least we got a little sunshine yesterday. Yeah. And Dennis say, oops, wishful thinking it was Thursday, Thanksgiving. You're right. It is Tuesday. That is funny because I was flipping around for the football game last night. I was like, usually Thursday football is on Prime. And my wife's like, it's Monday. I was like, oh, oops. We're off by a few days. All right. I want to thank our partners here. And again, we're talking about the biggest travel day of the year. Today, they say, and this is kind of I guess not a fun map, but it's the misery map, they call it, at FlightAware. And right now, Atlanta is winning with the most misery with hundreds of delays there. All right, so you can check that out whenever for the flight statuses. You can also check out Lions Roofing, lionsroofingco.com. I'm going to be golfing in some really cold weather with one of those folks tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Might need the hand warmers and just bundling up as much as possible. But, hey, this is the time of year you really want to protect your most valuable asset. That is your home, of course, but your roof protects the home. Make sure there's no leaky things going on. You can get free estimates here at lionsroofingco.com. Or, hey, just give them a call either side of the river, Louisville Metro, Kentucky, Indiana, 812-294-3595. It is Tuesday. And that's when I remind everybody it's Tuesdays at the Tech, Ivy Tech Community College here in Sellersburg. You go to ivytech.edu, just go to locations, go to Sellersburg. It's going to take you to their campus main page here where you can see dozens of certifications that they have offered there, which I think is going to be incredibly important in the economy moving forward with AI and everything. But I won't get into all that. But you can see their calendar there. You can see the Ivy Tech experience. Tuesdays at the Tech is where you can get registered and get one-on-one information on how to pay for post-secondary education, how to get registered, career coaching, all of that good stuff right there. And you might find some good discounts here with Michael Long. That's my insurance agent right there. Proud to be an American Star certified agency. Excellence in customer experience. Bundled up some life insurance recently, which dropped the bill with the app, and dropped the bill with student discounts. So if you want to get a new quote, tell them I sent you. 812-578-3072. That is amfam.com. We've got job postings here again at Libs Paving. A tough day for paving because of the rain, but hey, they're the top asphalt paving contractor around. I'm always happy to help them out with the forecast. But hey, if you want an opportunity, know someone that does need an opportunity, they may have that for you here at libspaving.com. And again, thanks again to all of our partners and allowing us to do what we do here with the show. And there's a live look at the wet pavement outside of our Extol Media Studios here in uptown New Albany, Indiana. Again, just gray on gray. Gray sky, gray concrete, and even some gray buildings there mixed in. Just lovely stuff out there. And it's the same situation, the same sitch here with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. If you look out the window, you know what we're talking about here. So let's go ahead and bring up that forecast and dig into it. Let's talk about it here. And before we do more of that, pardon me, just want to remind you, if you ever want to connect with us, join us with some advertising and marketing solutions for your company, organization, give me a shout out, Ben at extolmag.com. We can set up a phone call, virtual meeting, or face-to-face. Let me know. Or you can also email Jason at extolmag.com. And I'll run a reminder, too, here through December 15th, NWSB, any branch location, is collecting for REACH food program for kids, any canned food, non-perishable items, snacks, and dry cereals. That is NWSB. So spotty light rain after the steady rain this morning. Windy and colder tomorrow. We're talking 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts for our Wednesday with dropping temperatures. It'll feel like the 30s tomorrow. Cold Thanksgiving and Black Friday. And then maybe a little wintry mix, especially Saturday. Or again, we'll talk more about that here coming up. Here's your stupid Thanksgiving weather jokes today. So what's the key to a good Thanksgiving dinner? The turkey. That's a good kindergarten joke right there. Why are turkeys only in R-rated movies? Because they use foul language. How did the turkey get home from Thanksgiving? Took the gravy train. I feel like there's another joke in there with that gravy train, but I couldn't think of it. There you go. There's stupid weather jokes. How many days until our countdown continues? Of course, Thanksgiving just 2 days away. Earliest sunsets in a week from now. That's 5:22 p.m. Christmas in just a month, 30 days, because it is the 25th today. Spring begins in 116 days. And we've got Perry Porter popping in the comments here before we get to the weather history with good morning with the McDonald's with the coffee. We'll do a cheers with the big happy cup here. The second big cup of the day. Chris Marlin with the chuckles there. Thanks for watching, buddy. Appreciate you. One of the best guitarists in the land. And Beverly Haggis, love the jokes. Thank you very much, Beverly. Let's bring up the weather history for today. 1926, a large tornado outbreak struck from Missouri to Alabama, including a couple of EF4s. In Heber Springs, Arkansas, 145 homes were damaged or destroyed, 17 people killed. 1950, Michigan beat Ohio State 9-3 in the Snow Bowl in Columbus, Ohio. The morning temperature was 5 degrees with 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Driving snow shrouded the players on the field. There were 45 punts during the game, and Michigan won without ever achieving a first down. That is incredible. The intense storm swept from the Great Lakes to the Appalachians. Well, I've never even heard of a game like that. Winning a game without getting a first down. 1950, Louisville sets same year, same system. Louisville sets a record low of -1. In 1993, Thanksgiving Day game between Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins was memorable because of the heavy sleet that covered the field at Texas Stadium during the game. Miami won the game with a score of 16-14. 2003, a deadly accident happened on a lake, I don't know how to say that one, in the Congo when a ferry broke apart during a terrible storm, killing 163 of the nearly 400 on board. And we've got Janet Berry. My husband had a cup like that, but I got rid of it. How could you get rid of the Big Happy? but I understand. All right. Lillian Lasley, thanks for the support with the jokes. All right, your forecast today for your Tuesday, November the 25th, 62 degrees. So it should be a little bit milder this afternoon than what we've had. This will be our warmest day of the extended forecast. So even though it's rainy and it's cloudy, I guess appreciate the slight warm up today. Sunset at 5:24, and this will taper off to just some spotty sprinkles later this afternoon. Tonight might be a sprinkle left over, low of 42 degrees. The winds will start to pick up tonight, and it's going to be a breezy one for tomorrow. So some wicked wind chills Wednesday, 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. There might be a few parts of southern Indiana that sneak in a couple flurries at some point, but I think it'll be mostly dry and just very cold tomorrow. So upper 30s, low 40s, and some of the models are even colder than that. So it's just going to be a cold day, a raw day out there. Average high is 53, so we're going to be running about 10 degrees below normal. It'll probably feel about 20 degrees below normal with those winds out there tomorrow. It'll stay a bit breezy for Thursday. So 30s will probably feel like the 20s for Thanksgiving. Wednesday night, by the way, we're down to 29. 39 for Thanksgiving, down to 24 for Thanksgiving night. I'm going to fire up the wood stove once again with that kind of weather. Then 38 for Black Friday after starting off in the upper teens and 20s in the early morning. I don't know if anybody still goes out on those early mornings shopping, but it's going to be frigid out there. And then Saturday, I've got a little bit of a wintry mix potential. A system moves in with the cold air Saturday morning. There might be some wet snowflakes, perhaps, depending on the eventual track of that system. If the system tracks a little farther south, a little better chance of that snow Saturday. If it tracks a little farther north, kind of like the European weather model and the Canadian weather model, then a little better chance of just rain. Either way, it looked like if we get some wet snowflakes Saturday, not a major impact here for us. It would switch over to just a rain event later in the day Saturday, and then into Sunday. Looks pretty wet. Models are kind of all over the place early next week. I'll just say it still looks pretty unsettled next week as we're kind of in between really cold air north, milder air to the south, and we're just kind of in a storm highway over the Ohio Valley. So stay tuned for next week's forecast. Into December we go next week with, again, some more active weather here for us. So there you go. Busy 7-day forecast, and it is now 10:17. So that means we're pretty much right on time. We're about to fire up the weather model data here on this biggest travel day, they say, of the year, and bring up the flight aware misery map, they call it here. So Atlanta is the most miserable. Next in line is Houston with some delays, about 46 delays there. And then you got Chicago O'Hare, 39 delays. Dallas Fort Worth has 33 delays, and then doesn't get as bad for the other big hubs across the United States. But again, this morning we are tracking the rainfall. It is pretty steady across the area. Nothing too crazy, no lightning, no thunder. But there you can see east of I-65, the steadiest rain right now. West of I-65, as you look towards Bedford and Paoli, we're looking at the steady rain breaking apart to just some spotty areas of light rain, and kind of the same deal as we look here through Metro Louisville. Pretty steady rain around the area. This is a 1.5 hour loop. So looking at the rain here with the little animation, and then this batch of rain cruising over Interstate 65 and looking a little bit better out to the west, out towards Lillian Lasley's neighborhood here in Litchfield and Grayson County. Starting to see some improvements there. As we expand way out, we're left with a lot of clouds today and some occasional sprinkles underneath these clouds out to the west. So stay gloomy all day today. We're hoping to see at least some sunshine tomorrow, but again, it's going to be cold. Let me see if I can bring up the temp map and see the source of the changing conditions that we'll have here over the next 24 hours. So let me fire up the current temps. Might take just a second to load. Got a couple cold fronts that'll be moving through. One little break here. Orleans saying, hope you can find some warmer weather in the extended forecast. We're running out of time here as we head into December for that warmer weather. So here are the current temperatures. And again, a couple fronts. One of the fronts drops us into the 40s tonight. And then the stronger front may drop us into the 30s by late tomorrow afternoon. And look at the source of that cold air. They're down in the teens in Wyoming and in Montana and Idaho. So there's a big chill out to the west, dropping in from Canada. So we are going to see this front move through early tomorrow morning, and the winds are going to be whipping up with the dropping temperatures. Just not a good combination for our Wednesday. A lot of cold stuff on the horizon here for us. And let me bring up a little bit something else here. These are the model temperatures showing, again, the cold air just getting colder and colder and more severe. Crazy there in Greenland. So eventually you start to get that jet stream to take a little bit of a dip, and you're going to get colder and colder. So let me bring on the future radar map here, and I'm going to bring up the GFS for the short term and look at the 500 millibar winds. These are the winds up at around 18,000 feet that kind of guide the storm systems. And what we have here is a dip in the jet stream here. So that's bringing that cold air that we just saw to the upper plains and the northern Rockies. We've got a split stream, subtropical jet stream down here, and then the polar jet up this way. Oops, get rid of that. All right, back to the future cast. Let's go to the HRRR weather model, the HRRR. I'm going to fire up the reflectivity, which is the rainfall, and we're going to zoom back in and time out the rain here for today. So it's picking up, I would say, pretty well on what's actually happening. There you can see the steady rain starting to move off to the east, little bits and pieces out to the west. This is at 11 a.m. I'm going to bump this ahead to around 2 o'clock. If you look closely, you just see some light green. That's kind of the sprinkly stuff that we'll have for this afternoon left over. Going here to around 5 p.m., still maybe a little bit of mist, a little bit of drizzle. And now here is around 8 to 9 o'clock, still through later on tonight, maybe using the windshield wipers a little bit, just kind of that nuisance drizzle drop every now and again. And now I'm going to the overnight period. This is 2 a.m., still a chance for some sprinkles. The secondary front will move through early tomorrow morning. There it is, by the way. Let me bring this up full screen. So if you were out early tomorrow, you might get a sprinkle around sunrise or maybe a little bit before sunrise. Look at this sharp little line of some sprinkles right here. So that is the leading edge of the stronger front that's going to be moving through. This is at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, by the way. So that is that secondary front, and it's going to have that chill coming our way. And you'll notice a temperature contrast here as we look at this. So see these 30s out behind that front? That is on the way tomorrow afternoon. Let's go ahead and bump this to 3 p.m. for your 26th. That is some rough stuff here tomorrow afternoon right there. So it shows the warmest temperatures early tomorrow morning. The front moves through, and then crashing temperatures for our day tomorrow. So don't be shocked by it. If you step outside and that wind is hitting you in the face, and with those cold temperatures, you heard it here. It's going to be a cold one tomorrow afternoon. So get ready to bundle up tomorrow. If you maybe have some last minute shopping or travel, maybe getting that gravy at the grocery store if they have any left. It's going to be pretty frigid out there tomorrow, and it'll stay frigid for Thanksgiving as well. I'm going to pop on the precipitation type here, and notice, if you got to look close here, this is tomorrow afternoon. It's sneaking in a flurry chance. I think that's a small chance, but also don't be shocked if that happens as well. A little friendly flake might occasionally fly with this cold air. That is Old Man Winter making another visit to the region. So not only the cold, not only maybe a couple flurries, but the winds. Let's bring up the wind gusts here for tomorrow. Not looking too great. Even 30 plus mile per hour wind gusts with the cold air on top of us tomorrow. So there you guys are, tomorrow afternoon's wind gusts, a blustery, cold Wednesday tomorrow. So you might see on some 7-day forecasts. Let me explain this a little bit. So the National Weather Service has to, if you're looking at their forecast or maybe a TV forecast, they do get graded on their accuracy. So if the high tomorrow, say right after midnight, is like 50 degrees, you might see 50 as a high temperature on a Wednesday map or a Wednesday graphic. But that is in the early morning. Once that front moves through, those temperatures are going to be dropping off steadily tomorrow. So what it's actually going to feel like is the 30s, maybe even the 20s by late in the afternoon tomorrow. So just want to explain that. Sometimes those graphics can be a little deceiving when you have the opposite happening. You got a warm morning and a cold afternoon. So tomorrow is going to be kind of an opposite day in that regard because of those winds right there. And Old Man Winter returning to the area. And Lillian Lasley says, I will stay home. Burr. Yes, indeed, Burr. In fact, let me try to fire up the let me get out the full screen here, and we'll look at the wind chills. Let me see if we got that here with the we'll have to fire up the GFS weather model. I'm going to go ahead to go here to tomorrow. We'll go 4 p.m. tomorrow, okay? So here's your wind chills. Let's plot it out. Feeling like near 32 degrees tomorrow afternoon. And of course, that cuts through you when you've got a 30-mile-per-hour wind gust. So it can make it feel even colder. So there's the big heads up. Cold air moving in. Orleans says, I don't think that golf game is going to be very warm. I completely agree. So we were texting about this, our little text group. Are you still going to golf? Are you still going to golf? There's like 8 of us. We might do like a 4 versus 4. And I said, I am in. I'll tough it out if you guys tough it out. So far, I think everybody's still in on the cold pre-Thanksgiving golf match tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. All right, back to the cold stuff. Look at that cold air dropping in over the Ohio Valley, over the Midwest. And that's going to be the next big story. So we're going to go here to Thanksgiving morning. Cold air over much of the United States. And now we are coming in close to our area. And there you can see we're dropping to temperatures below freezing to get started here for our Thanksgiving morning. They're not going to be an incredible warm up here for Thanksgiving afternoon. We're looking at upper 30s to the low 40s south of Louisville. Chilly day there but not only that, we've got a wind still maybe at around 10 to 20 miles per hour for Thanksgiving Day. Look at our 4 p.m. Thanksgiving afternoon wind chills in the upper 20s and low 30s, my friends. It is going to be some cold turkey out there. All right. Some wild turkey might warm you up. All right, let's move into 7 a.m. Black Friday. It gets worse. Does anybody still do like that early morning shopping for Black Friday? Opening those doors, rushing to the doors. There's the Black Friday freeze. Wind chills in the teens. Not pleasant. Not pleasant at all. All right, let's get rid of that. I might be camping that night too. That might not be very good. There we go. There's the frowny face for our Friday morning. Frigid temperatures. Look at that. Dropping down from Canada. You can see the source of it right there from central Canada heading our direction. Big chill on the way, guys. Orly says, don't do it anymore, Ben, but it used to be so much fun, that rush. Yeah, that chill. And what's gotten popular is like those ice baths and things like that. So people do like to get that chill. I'm not a huge fan. I like the hot tub better than the cold tub. All right, so that's the cold weather that's coming in. That's story number 2. Okay, so the stories we've been talking about here We timed out today's rain, tomorrow's wicked wind chills with the winds and the cold temperatures, just the cold that's going to be on top of us for Thanksgiving and for Friday. Now, let's fire up the GFS, already fired up, but let's switch it over to the precip type and look ahead to our Saturday after Thanksgiving, because maybe a little wintry mix developing Saturday if the system moves on top of us. So Saturday is the 29th. So we will go into Saturday morning here. Let's fire it up. So it has snow out to our west. This is 4 a.m. Saturday. Vicky Berger refuses the cold weather, rebukes the cold weather. I hear you. Nothing we can do about it this time of the year. All right, so this is 7 a.m. Saturday morning. Here we go to 10 a.m. 1 p.m. Saturday, showing at least a potential for a little bit of light snow moving into our area. Saturday morning. We'll see if that actually happens. Right now, it looks like the Euro kind of keeping it warmer, so it would just be rain as that moves in. And right there, it looks like mostly west of I-65. So a lot of question marks around Saturday's system that will be fine-tuning here over the next couple of days, but it does look pretty unsettled as this stuff moves in. And then notice as we head into the afternoon, kind of a switch over, if we do see snow, just to rain as some warmer temperatures slide our direction. Primarily a rain system this weekend, but maybe initially could see some snowflakes flying Saturday morning, especially if the GFS is correct. And then now I'm going into Saturday night and into Sunday. Notice I-70 north. Some of you might be traveling north. We talked about this several days ago. North of I-70, more potential for snow. And then south of I-70, rain. This is Saturday night into Sunday. So a mixed system that we get in late fall. This is 1 a.m. going into Sunday morning. I'm going to jump ahead to 7 a.m. Sunday morning. And there's that wet system overhead. So all the models give us some pretty wet weather for Sunday. Just not a great into the weekend. And perhaps not the best travel weather. We'll see about that for Sunday for folks maybe heading back home from the Thanksgiving holiday. We've got this system over the, say east of the Mississippi River, Ohio Valley, down to the deep south, and over the Great Lakes. Snow north, rain south, maybe storms farther south. There's not a lot of CAPE or fuel for storms, so it doesn't look like any significant severe weather threat. This is 4 p.m. on Sunday. So no big severe weather threat, but hey, we've got some nasty weather perhaps developing for this weekend. Okay, let me go back to the reflectivity here. It does look like we could be in a fairly unsettled weather pattern. I'm going to fire back up the temperature map. So some cold weather lingering through the weekend, going into our December 1st. That looks chilly. we might just be seeing a lot of cold stuff. This is December 2nd. So that would be what, next Tuesday? That's at 4 p.m. Oh, hide your eyes if you don't want to see the cold weather. It could be lingering around the region. Going into December 3rd. So I guess that would be a Wednesday. Going into December 4th. December 5th. The cold air might be just starting to win the battle, so to speak. I'm going into December the 6th here. Maybe another shot of cold air heading our direction around that time frame. And this is December the 7th. Man, it's getting cold up to the north. Wow. Yeah, so we might see the cold air up in Alaska and Canada really winning here. This is kind of a break in the polar vortex, allowing this cold air to drop south. a stratospheric warming event is what they call it. So way up top, it can be warmer, and then the opposite happens in the troposphere and the bottom levels of the atmosphere, and it weakens the polar belt of winds up there that try to lock up that polar air. And when the jet stream weakens, it can just open the door to some really cold shots of air that have been bundled up there. So we'll see what happens with that. We might be on the edge of it. If the jet stream can lock tight over the Ohio Valley, we'll stay fairly stormy, but the coldest would stay up to the north of us. It just might be interesting forecast here for us for quite some time. This is the 500 millibar winds, and this is what I'm talking about. So if this kind of situation happens, you've got the northern tier states frigid, okay, just north of us. And then as we zoom in here, we're right on the battlegrounds here. So cold north, warm south, and we would just be in kind of a stormy weather pattern going into December. So there you go. That's kind of the long range forecast here for us. And then bringing up the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day outlook here at 10:35. We're kind of on the edge. Warmer southeast, very cold up to the north. I mean, they've got winter storms and frigid blizzard conditions up in the upper Midwest. They've got winter coming for sure up there. Expanding out. So you see the northwestern 2/3 of the U.S. getting winter, southeastern United States milder, and that's because you got a dip in the jet stream. We talk about it a lot. Trough fills in with cold air, and then a ridge has warm air here when we talk about the flow of the jet stream. That's the 6 to 10 day outlook, and bringing up the 8 to 14 day outlook. So kind of the 2-week outlook here from the Climate Prediction Center. Not much change because of the orientation of the jet stream that we saw flowing right over the top of us. We might see near normal temperatures over the long range. Now, of course, we got below normal temperatures for the rest of this week, but looking into next week and maybe the next couple of weeks, we might be fluctuating a little above, a little below, having fronts moving through, having storm system moving through, just a progressive active weather pattern. Could be just kind of stormy, wet, maybe a few snowflakes mixing in every once in a while. Again, just a busy weather pattern setting up for us. And that has been on a limb as we look at the long range outlook, going out on a limb there. And not going out on a limb is showing you what the current conditions are with the radar and satellite. Whoa. Sorry for that super zoom there. Let's look at the full screen map. There you can see we're starting to see the steady rain move east of I-65 and breaking it apart into some sprinkles and spots west of I-65. So trending drier this afternoon, but can't say all dry. It would be just, a little bit of mist and drizzle as the heart of this system is starting to glide off to the east and northeast. We will have, again, just some windy weather moving in for tomorrow and dropping temperatures throughout your Wednesday. And we'll bring up the forecast, do the forecast recap here in just a second. And a live look outside at the wet pavement out there in the gray and gloomy skies that we have throughout all of the region. I'm sure it looks about the same in your backyard as well. Lillian saying, wow, there with a look at that long range forecast. Orlean, that's just not looking good. So cold. Yes, indeed. And Bertha Turner, good morning, Ben. Not looking forward to the cooler weather. I'd say colder weather for sure. Yeah, a lot of us not looking forward to it. Going to have to get in that winter mindset here soon. All right, forecast recap loading up for us. For those tune in a little bit later, spotty light rain, tapering to some sprinkles this afternoon. Windy and colder tomorrow, falling temperatures. It is coat weather for our Wednesday. Cold Thanksgiving and Friday, highs in the 30s, wind chills in the 20s for Thanksgiving, and overnight low temperatures in the 20s for Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. We might get a little bit of a mix this weekend. Some of the models trying to show a little bit of wet snow early Saturday before it just turns into some rain. Judy Tyndall here saying it looks the same in Cloverport. Yes, indeed. Our stupid Thanksgiving weather jokes here. What's the key to a good Thanksgiving dinner? Turkey. Why are turkeys only in R-rated movies? Because they use foul language. How did the turkey get home from Thanksgiving? Took the gravy train. If you have any weather jokes, feel free to share them with me right here. You can email me, ben@extolmag.com, or if you want to join up with our, again, marketing or advertising solutions here with Extol Weather and Extol Media, that's how we can connect. All right. The countdown continues. Just a couple days to Thanksgiving, of course. Earliest sunsets in 1 week, Christmas in 30 days, spring in 116 days. A lot of weather history for today. Interesting one, 1950, when Michigan beat Ohio State without ever getting a first down in the Snow Bowl. The score was 9-3. And Louisville, the same day, set a record low temperature of 1 below. Our forecast today, 62 degrees. We'll try to make it into the 60s. Spotty light rain turning just to some sprinkles off and on, and otherwise just cool and cloudy out there today. Southwest wind at around 5 to 15. And for tomorrow, 42 degrees. Tonight, I should say 42. The low as the winds start to pick up a bit overnight as the cold front moves through early tomorrow morning. I've got maybe a sprinkle chance, probably pre-sunrise tomorrow, but most of our Wednesday will be dry. Can't completely rule out a stray flurry with the dropping temperatures tomorrow, and especially in parts of Indiana. 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe some gusts a little higher than that. So it's going to feel around freezing tomorrow afternoon. 7-day forecast is a busy one here. We've got 29 tomorrow night, 39 the high for Thanksgiving. It'll feel colder with winds still at around 10 to 24 Thanksgiving Day. Down to 24 Thursday night. Some outlying areas could be even colder, maybe touching the upper teens for Black Friday morning. 38 Friday afternoon. Down to 26 Friday night. 42 Saturday afternoon. And in the morning Saturday, if the GFS is correct, there might be a few snowflakes mixing in before it just turns into some rain. Rain Sunday with 40s. The models are all over the place early next week. We're going to need to really fine-tune that forecast, but the moral of the story is our weather pattern should stay a bit unsettled here over the next maybe 2 or 3 weeks, as we are kind of right between warmer air southeast, very, very cold air to the north and northwest. And when you're in the middle of two different clashing air masses, that can be the storm highway. So that's kind of the setup here. Busy weather pattern. Not much sunshine, unfortunately, here for us. All right, 10:42. That has been the program here this morning. Let me fire up one more thing here before we wrap it all up on this Tuesday, on the biggest travel day of the year, they say. This is the live misery map at flightaware.com, showing a bunch of delays here in Atlanta, some in Chicago O'Hare, the big hubs dealing with some delays. Another live peek out there with the fallsoftheohio.org camera, Falls of the Ohio Foundation. Yeah, it looks like that pretty much everywhere. Reminder, we got a lot of tools here for you at extolmag.com/weather, interactive maps, radars, all different kinds of things you can load up and take a look at. That's the future cast. You just hit play in the bottom left corner, and that's going to use the weather models to show you when that rain is moving out and what will be moving in next. And next, when we look at tomorrow here, is the dropping temperatures. I'll stop this tomorrow in the afternoon and just chilly stuff on the way. Otherwise, we got, again, a lot more tools here. We got 57 degrees with the current conditions. Got your sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset, the phases of the moon, winds. A lot of resource variables that you can take a look at. Daily forecast over the next 7-8 days. And then we got the hourly forecast to take you through the day. My brand new 7-day forecast, which we just showed you. The weather story with some extra maps and a little more explanation of the forecast. Indiana weather and traffic. Just got you linked up to a bunch of stuff here. This severe weather map from weather.gov shows the winter storm warnings to the north up here. They're going to be very, very busy in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Blizzard-like conditions up that way with those winter storm warnings. And I want to thank our partners to allow us to do what we do here on Ben at 10 every morning, Monday through Friday. Thanks for liking or sharing, maybe even subscribing on, I should say, I'm drawing a blank, YouTube. Little brain fart there. But again, thanks for liking or sharing. Sometimes just that like spreads it through the social media algorithm. So even just hitting that like button, appreciate that. Protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. Make sure your roof is in good condition to protect your most valuable asset, and that being your home. Free estimates here at lionsroofingco.com. LYONS, right out of Memphis, Indiana, but they got you covered on both sides of the river throughout Metro Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana. Call 812-294-3595 for more information. And it is the Ivy Tech experience here. Ivy Tech Community College, Sellersburg. They've got dozens of two-year certifications. Today is Tuesdays. That's when I remind you, it's Tuesdays at the Tech where you can get one-on-one information. Just register ahead of time, and they can get you hooked up with a faculty member, and they give you a little tour of the campus, look at their modern facilities. You get career coaching, financial coaching. And if you're ready, you can get registered right there. If you want to get a quote, see if there's some discounts for you, give this guy a call right here, Michael Long. That's my insurance agent, 812-578-3072. He just gave me a couple price reductions. Might be able to do that for you as well. You can go to amfam.com, search Michael Long, and it'll take you to his page right here. Also want to thank our partners here at Libs Paving. They're always busy trying to get those roads in good shape. And you can go to libspaving.com, L-I-B, B as in Ben, S, paving.com, and go to their career section, and you might find an available opportunity for you or someone you know. There it is. That was the show. So we've got a good morning from John Fox. Thanks for popping in here. Some last-minute shout-outs before we wrap it up. Beverly Haggis, have a good day. You as well. Vicky Berger, thanks for watching here this morning. Have a great day, everybody. And Erica Risotto, have a great day all. We'll wrap it up with that. All right, we'll probably do live from inside my house tomorrow morning, because after that, I'm going to try to play some cold golf. Before Thanksgiving golf, we'll probably still do the live show for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Maybe not Friday. We'll see. I'm going to try my best to take a little bit of time off. I've had a 7-day out. I've had a forecast out. I've had weather content every day since this has started April 2nd. So I'm going to try maybe to take a little time off. With that said, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving and stay warm out there. Cold air is on the way.